Justin Baldoni accused of verbal abuse by unnamed person likely to testify at Blake Lively trial might sound like the kind of sensational headline built to capture immediate attention, but in truth it gives us an opportunity to explore a much bigger narrative, the world of celebrities and how their journeys intertwine with careers, fashion, charity work, safe controversies, fan interactions, and inspirational stories that captivate millions across the globe. Because when we peel back the headlines, we find that every celebrity, whether it is Justin Baldoni, known for his heartfelt roles in film and television and his advocacy for rethinking masculinity, or Blake Lively, recognized as a beloved actress, entrepreneur, and style icon, has a journey filled with triumphs, challenges, and lessons that can inspire and entertain in equal measure. And in this exploration, we will see that what defines a star is not simply the glitz of red carpets, but the resilience with which they face challenges, the creativity that drives their art, and the compassion that often shines through in their charitable work. For Justin Baldoni, his breakout role in Jane the Virgin allowed him to connect deeply with audiences who admired his charm, sincerity, and emotional depth on screen, yet beyond acting. He became a voice in important cultural conversations, using his platform to advocate for authenticity, vulnerability, and a more compassionate understanding of masculinity. And while headlines sometimes attach him to controversies, the bigger picture is his consistent effort to create positive change, whether through books, documentaries, or motivational talks. And when we turn to Blake Lively, we see another example of how celebrity stories hold more than what meets the eye. Because while many admire her glamorous red carpet looks and fashion-forward presence, she is equally respected for her entrepreneurial work, her charity endeavors, and her role as a devoted mother alongside husband Ryan Reynolds. Together, they form one of Hollywood's most beloved couples, using their influence to support children's hospitals, humanitarian relief efforts, and environmental causes. And when we consider the power of celebrity couples, we see that the balance between fame, family, and giving back is not easy. Yet many, like Blake and Ryan, demonstrate that it is possible to pursue careers at the highest levels while still making an impact. And this theme resonates through countless celebrity stories, because when we shift focus from Hollywood to the global stage, we see stars like Priyanka Chopra, Jonas, who transitioned from Bollywood to Hollywood while advocating for education and women's rights as a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador, and her journey mirrors the theme of resilience and reinvention that defines so many in entertainment. And then we have Selena Gomez, who began her career as a Disney Channel star, only to evolve into a successful actress, singer, and entrepreneur, while facing and openly sharing her struggles with health and mental well-being through her platform and her brand Rare Beauty. She advocates for mental health awareness and inclusivity, turning her challenges into inspiration for millions of fans. And this theme of transforming personal trials into platforms of inspiration echoes in the story of Demi Lovato, who after public struggles continues to use their music and voice to encourage others to embrace authenticity, healing, and empowerment, proving that celebrity culture is not just about glamour, but about humanity shared in the spotlight. And in similar ways, Justin Baldoni's advocacy reminds audiences that strength lies in vulnerability, and that redefining what it means to be a man in today's world can create healthier connections across generations. And when we zoom out to the larger world of music, we see artists like Lady Gaga, who turned her eccentric fashion and groundbreaking performances into cultural landmarks. Yet her greatest contribution may be through her Born This Way Foundation, which focuses on empowering youth, encouraging kindness, and supporting mental health initiatives, showing how fame can be harnessed for widespread good. And this reminds us of Beyoncé, whose career arc from Destiny's Child to solo megastar redefined what it means to be an artist, entrepreneur, and activist. Her Bay Good Foundation has provided aid for disaster relief, education, and women's empowerment, cementing her as a figure whose influence extends far beyond the stage. And what connects Beyoncé, Lady Gaga, Justin Baldoni, and Blake Lively is their shared ability to use influence as a tool not only for entertainment, but for advocacy and change. And this theme continues when we look at Oprah Winfrey, whose life story from hardship to becoming one of the most powerful voices in media exemplifies resilience, grace, and the ability to inspire millions across the world. Her philanthropic endeavors, her school for girls in South Africa, and her encouragement of self-growth make her an enduring figure of influence and hope. And then we shift to figures like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who transformed from an athlete in the wrestling ring to one of Hollywood's Most bankable stars yet throughout his success, he consistently shares motivational messages, promotes fitness, wellness, and mental resilience, and gives back through philanthropy for children and veterans, proving that larger-than-life personalities can still embody humility, kindness, and service. And when we step into the world of sports icons like Serena Williams, who not only dominated tennis but also became a global advocate for gender equality and women in sports, her journey reminds us that fame combined with excellence creates a legacy that inspires generations. And in these interconnected stories, we see a common thread. Celebrities from Justin Baldoni to Blake Lively, from Lady Gaga to Beyoncé, from Oprah to The Rock, from Selena Gomez to Serena Williams, all show us that behind the headlines, behind the controversies, and behind the glamour lies the true essence of celebrity influence, resilience, reinvention, and inspiration. As we continue to peel back the layers of celebrity culture and the ongoing fascination with figures like Justin Baldoni, who has faced headlines both celebratory and challenging, including the recent mention of being accused of verbal abuse by an unnamed person that might testify at Blake Lively's trial. Though always keeping our perspective positive and policy-friendly, we realize that moments like these are just surface ripples in a much deeper ocean, because what truly defines these personalities is not a single incident, but the ongoing arc of their lives and how they continually rise and redefine themselves in the public eye. And when we talk about Blake Lively herself, she represents a fascinating intersection of Hollywood, glamour, and genuine relatability. Her early rise in Gossip Girl made her a style icon to an entire generation. But what fans admire most is her ability to balance family business and charity, all while radiating warmth on screen and off-screen. And with Ryan Reynolds at her side, they have built not only a marriage admired by millions, but also a partnership rooted in shared values of humor, philanthropy, and storytelling. Ryan himself is known for his quick wit, his blockbuster success with films like Deadpool, and his entrepreneurial moves with Aviation Gin and Mint Mobile. Yet what often endears him to fans is his honesty about parenthood, his hilarious banter with Blake, and his continual use of fame for good causes, from donating to clean water initiatives to supporting children's hospitals. And their story parallels many other celebrity couples who have found ways to thrive under the spotlight, reminding us that fame does not always corrode love, but can in fact strengthen it when values align. And then we move across the Atlantic to look at figures like David and Victoria Beckham, a power couple that merges the worlds of sports, fashion, and business. David's legendary career in football made him a global ambassador for the sport, while Victoria reinvented herself from Spice Girl to high-end fashion designer, creating a brand that has won respect in luxury markets. Their marriage has endured challenges, yet continues to inspire as they raise their children and balance multiple global ventures. And this resilience echoes in another famous couple, Jay-Z and Beyoncé, who have built an empire, not only through music, but through their investments, activism, and their ability to continually reinvent themselves. With each new project, and what ties all these figures together, from Blake and Ryan to the Beckhams to Jay-Z and Beyoncé, is the reminder that celebrity is not just about spotlight moments, but about enduring narratives of reinvention, loyalty, and purpose. And when we return to Justin Baldoni in this light, we see that beyond any controversy, his broader legacy is centered on creating meaningful dialogue, whether through his directorial work like 5 Feet Apart, which touched audiences with its heartfelt portrayal of young love under difficult circumstances, or through his TED Talk on redefining masculinity, which continues to inspire men and women to rethink outdated norms and embrace vulnerability. And in this sense, his story aligns with other figures like Matthew McConaughey, who after years of being typecast in romantic comedies, shifted his career dramatically to take on serious roles, eventually winning an Oscar for Dallas Buyers Club, and then further evolved into an author and social advocate, reminding us that even after challenges, reinvention is possible at every stage. And speaking of reinvention, who could forget Robert Downey Jr., whose journey from struggles with substance use and legal troubles to becoming the face of the Marvel Cinematic Universe as Iron Man is perhaps one of the most iconic comebacks in Hollywood history. His story shows us that personal growth, resilience, and the right opportunities can transform not only careers but entire cultural landscapes, and this theme of transformation resonates globally as we consider international stars like BTS, who started from a small label in South Korea to become the biggest boy band in the world, spreading messages of self-love, unity, and resilience. While partnering with UNICEF for campaigns that inspire millions worldwide, Their story reflects how perseverance, authenticity, and artistry can break barriers of language and culture, making global stars truly universal. And when we weave together these threads, we realize that every controversy, every headline, and every comeback is just another chapter in the larger book of human resilience told through the lens of fame. And so when Justin Baldoni or Blake Lively or Ryan Reynolds find their names linked with headlines about trials, accusations, or dramatic revelations, what matters most is not the noise of the moment, but the ongoing stories of growth, compassion, creativity, and the ability to inspire fans who look to them not as perfect figures, but as real people who, like everyone else, face challenges, grow from them, and leave legacies that reach far beyond gossip columns. Because in the end, that is what makes celebrity culture so captivating. It is the reminder that stars shine, not only on red carpets, but also in the quiet ways they rise above and continue to light the path for others. As the narrative of celebrity journeys unfolds, we begin to notice that what ties so many of these stories together is the interplay between personal challenges and the ability to transform them into inspiration for fans and communities, because whether it is Justin Baldoni facing scrutiny while also pushing forward conversations about vulnerability and kindness, or Blake Lively balancing motherhood, entrepreneurship, and Hollywood stardom, or Ryan Reynolds mixing blockbuster success with philanthropy, each figure reminds us that fame is not just a spotlight, but a magnifying glass that amplifies every aspect of life, the highs, the lows, and the lessons in between. And when we consider others in this same light, figures like Jennifer Lopez come to mind because her career arc from a dancer on In Living Color to a global superstar singer, actress, and businesswoman shows resilience at every stage. And what makes her story even more impactful is her continual reinvention from music to movies to business ventures like her beauty brand, all while maintaining a reputation as one of the hardest working women in the entertainment industry. And then we look at someone like Taylor Swift, whose journey from a teenage country singer to one of the most influential artists in the world reflects perseverance and a deep connection to her fans. Taylor's ability to turn personal experiences into chart-topping albums has created an almost unprecedented bond with her audience, and her re-recording of her early albums to reclaim ownership of her masters became a landmark moment not only for her career, but also for conversations around artist rights in the music industry. And in the same way, we think of icons like Madonna, who for decades has redefined pop culture through music reinvention and bold self-expression, setting the stage for future generations to embrace creativity without fear of judgment. And when we look at newer artists like Billie Eilish, we see how fame in the digital era allows young talent to express individuality and authenticity, connecting with fans worldwide, not just through music, but through openness about mental health and self-identity. And this openness is a hallmark of today's celebrity culture, where vulnerability is no longer hidden but shared and transformed into power. And when we consider Justin Baldoni's advocacy for embracing vulnerability, we see how he stands within a larger cultural shift where stars across music, film, and sports are breaking the old mold of perfection, and instead inviting fans into their real human experiences, creating bonds that go beyond admiration and move into shared growth. And in this same vein, we find celebrities like Keanu Reeves, whose humility and kindness, despite massive success, have made him a beloved figure. His generosity toward crew members, charities, and fans has become almost legendary, and demonstrates that kindness can be the greatest legacy of all. And when we compare this to philanthropic leaders like Angelina Jolie, whose decades of humanitarian work, from refugee advocacy to adoption and international aid, have inspired countless people, we realize that celebrities are often most impactful not when they are praised for fashion or red carpets, but when they use their visibility for meaningful change. And this ties back to figures like Blake Lively, who alongside her acting career has invested her time in causes such as combating child exploitation, through working with organizations like Child Rescue Coalition, highlighting how even amid personal or professional headlines, her true values shine through. And when we pivot to the world of sports again, names like Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi dominate not only because of their incredible athleticism, but because of their charitable commitments building schools, hospitals, and foundations in their home countries and abroad. And when fans cheer for them on the field, they are also supporting men who have chosen to give back in profound ways. And this idea of giving back is echoed by countless other figures, from Shakira building schools in Colombia, to Chance the Rapper donating millions to support education in Chicago, to Rihanna whose Clara Lionel Foundation has funded global emergency response efforts, making her a symbol of artistry combined with humanitarian drive. And through these examples, we understand that whether the celebrity is facing a challenging headline, like Justin Baldoni, or being celebrated for artistic triumphs like Beyoncé, the common denominator is the ability to inspire resilience, reinvention, and compassion. And that is why audiences continue to watch, listen, and follow. Because deep down, the stories of stars are reflections of our own desires to rise from difficulty, embrace authenticity, and leave a meaningful impact. When we dive deeper into the ongoing fascination with celebrities and the many ways their lives unfold before the public eye, we realize that headlines like Justin Baldoni accused of verbal abuse by an unnamed person likely to testify at Blake Lively trial only scratch the surface, because beneath those bold letters, there are years of dedication to craft, to family, to personal growth, and to leaving behind a meaningful mark. And in truth, the most powerful part of celebrity culture is not controversy, but the inspirational threads woven throughout careers that show us how human resilience and creativity are endlessly adaptable. For instance, when we look at Blake Lively's career after Gossip Girl, she could have remained typecast in television roles, but instead, she chose a path that expanded her horizons, starring in films like The Shallows and A Simple Favor, which revealed her ability to command the screen in very different genres. And while balancing her career, she embraced fashion as another form of storytelling, becoming a regular standout at the Met Gala, often designing or co-designing her gowns, which inspired fashion enthusiasts worldwide. And then beyond aesthetics, she poured energy into entrepreneurship, like her line of mixers, Betty Buzz, showing how modern celebrities transform fame into multifaceted ventures. And when we reflect on Justin Baldoni, we find a similar pattern, because though some see him only as an actor, his role as a director and author speaks volumes about his deeper mission, whether through films like Clouds, which touched hearts with its bittersweet exploration of life and music, or through his book Man Enough, which encourages men to embrace authenticity. His purpose is rooted in creating spaces for healing, conversation, and growth. And when controversies emerge, his legacy is measured not by the noise of headlines, but by the positive waves he has initiated in the lives of many. And this interplay of artistry, personal growth, and philanthropy is visible in countless figures like Zendaya, who rose from Disney Channel beginnings to become an Emmy-winning actress known for Euphoria, and for her groundbreaking work in fashion, where she pushes boundaries of representation and inclusivity. Zendaya's humility and her advocacy for young people make her more than just a star. She becomes a role model, and similarly, we find stars like Emma Watson, who leveraged her fame from Harry Potter to launch a powerful career in activism, championing gender equality through the He for She campaign at the United Nations, inspiring people across the globe to rethink roles and create more inclusive futures. And this blending of art and activism echoes across the stories of stars like Leonardo DiCaprio, who after decades of blockbuster films chose to use his influence to raise awareness about climate change, founding the Leonardo DiCaprio Foundation and dedicating millions to environmental causes, proving that fame can and should be a vehicle for change. And when we revisit the theme of comebacks, we cannot ignore the unforgettable journey of Britney Spears, whose rise to fame at a young age brought immense pressure. Yet through personal struggles and years of legal battles, she emerged stronger, sparking global conversations about autonomy, mental health, and the rights of artists to control their lives and careers. And her resilience connected fans in ways deeper than any chart-topping single ever could, reminding us that human spirit thrives even under the harshest lights of scrutiny. And this sense of resilience is mirrored in the journey of K-pop star Jungkook of BTS, who has spoken openly about the challenges of growing up in the spotlight and learning to balance personal identity with global fame. His story, like those of his bandmates, is one of disciplined teamwork, vulnerability, and authenticity, which has turned BTS into not only music icons, but also cultural ambassadors of positivity and unity. And this idea of unity also brings to mind figures like Malala Yousafzai, who, though not a celebrity in the traditional sense, has become a global icon, using her platform to advocate for girls' education. And in doing so, she has influenced celebrities to align with humanitarian causes, showing the interconnectedness of fame and advocacy across industries. And as these threads weave together, we come back to the idea that while Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively might at times find themselves attached to dramatic headlines, their real contributions lie in the inspiration they spark, the stories they tell, and the way they use influence to start conversations that matter. Because what captivates audiences is not just glamour, but humanity revealed through the spotlight. As we continue on this journey through the fascinating and ever-evolving world of celebrities, we see that the allure of fame lies not only in dazzling premieres or viral social media moments, but also in the ways these public figures navigate personal trials with resilience and transform challenges into opportunities to inspire others. And when names like Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively surface in headlines often connected to legal proceedings, controversies, or speculation, it is important to remember that their broader legacies are rooted in creativity, philanthropy, and their ability to connect authentically with fans. Because beyond a single story, their careers reflect a tapestry of dedication and growth. When we revisit Blake Lively, once more, her life alongside Ryan Reynolds reflects not just Hollywood glamour, but an evolving love story that has inspired fans across the globe. They are known for playful social media banter that humanizes them, making them relatable, while at the same time using their fame to shed light on meaningful causes, from supporting children's hospitals to donating for clean water initiatives in Flint, Michigan, showing that true influence is built when laughter and love are paired with compassion and giving. And Justin Baldoni, too, demonstrates this balance with his passion for telling stories that resonate deeply, such as Clouds of Film, that celebrated the brief but beautiful life of Zach Sobiech, reminding viewers of the fragility and beauty of existence. And in doing so, Justin showed his gift for elevating real human stories into universal messages of hope and courage. And this pattern of elevating real life through art is one we can trace through countless other stars, such as Viola Davis, whose performances on stage and screen bring forth layers of humanity, strength, and vulnerability, from her Oscar-winning role in Fences to her activism for equality and representation. She embodies the idea that artistry and advocacy can exist side by side. And then we think of someone like Meryl Streep, whose career spanning decades has not only set a benchmark for acting excellence, but also inspired generations to embrace authenticity and hard work, reminding us that greatness is not achieved overnight, but through consistency and dedication. And in a similar sense, we see how Oprah Winfrey's ongoing journey still influences millions as she continues to use her voice platform and philanthropy to encourage empowerment, education, and healing around the world. And these examples remind us that despite occasional controversies or challenging headlines, true legacies are built over decades, not days. And when we shift focus to the music world, we see similar arcs with figures like Adele, who transformed personal heartbreak into timeless ballads, resonating with fans across continents and winning awards. Yet what makes Adele so beloved is not just her voice, but her honesty, her humor, and her authenticity that make fans feel as if they know her personally. And then we have Ed Sheeran, whose humble beginnings of street performances and sofa surfing evolved into a career of global hits and sold-out stadiums, while still maintaining a reputation for humility, kindness, and gratitude, reminding fans that staying grounded is possible even when success reaches unimaginable heights. And the same is true for artists like Shawn Mendes, who speaks openly about anxiety, inspiring young fans to face their struggles with courage and tools for healing, proving once again that the modern definition of celebrity is about being real as much as being talented. And then across the globe, we find artists like Shakira, who combined global stardom with philanthropy through her Barefoot Foundation, building schools in Colombia and creating opportunities for children, reminding us that music can build more than charts. It can build futures, and all of these threads interconnect with the central reminder that while names like Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively might make headlines for courtroom drama or rumors, their real stories, the ones that endure in the hearts of fans, are about the films, the laughter, the acts of kindness, the advocacy, and the humanity they choose to share with the world. And that is why celebrity culture remains endlessly captivating, because within the glamour we find reflections of ourselves striving to rise, facing challenges, giving back, and leaving behind light.